this is the thought I have in my head about the jetpacks, right? You're able to you play the song, but then, you know, midway through, like the entire set, when a song's out, you jetpack out into the audience, and like there's no drums during that song, but you jetpack out, and people were like, "Oh my god, the drummer's on a jetpack."
No, I'm saying, like, what are you gonna do in the audience with a jetpack on?
Just, you know, blast them with heat, I guess. Do some spins. I don't know.
I mean, you don't need a guitar tech. You can tune while he's doing that.
Yeah, that's like in
That's
between those tuning,
you know?
breaks when I'm like, what do I do with my drumsticks? You know, I could just jetpack around, and people will be distracted. And
I feel like Pink already does this.
Yeah, she
Isn't
has
that what she does? The trapeze.
Yeah, the trapeze, like the wires and stuff. But
maybe Bad Bunny did a jetpack of sorts.
But you know, it's like we're getting a time of age where, you know, jetpacks are becoming a little more accessible to the super wealthy. You know,
it's terrifying.
So
all these robots.
So
I look on the internet, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not making it to the metaverse. Just leave me behind. You know, guys, thank you very much for being here. It's been a minute since I did an interview for Loops. I feel like it's been like a month or so since I've actually put something out. But it's the summer, you know, things are very busy. With me is Isadora Eden. Hi, Isadora.
What's up?
The softest speech ever. That's gonna make it really easy to edit. And Sumner, Erhard.
Yo,
how are you guys?
Doing great. Just had some delicious chicken cooked by Miguel.
Yeah. Well, that's because you guys are friends, you know. Before you're not just artists, you're not just people I'm interviewing, you're friends. Becky's here too. She's listening in.
Hello.
And we probably met through Becky, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It's been like a couple of years. I actually don't even remember exactly where, but yes, you were friends. And then I knew that you recorded music, Sumner, or like you played in a band, Corsicana, but you play in many other bands, or one other band?
Yeah, one other band.
One other band, great. Modern Leisure.
Yes.
Perfect. Isadora, and I knew you made music too. But you just came out with a new album.
Yeah.
It's called Forget What Makes It Glow. And it was out last week, because we're recording this July 22nd, so it was the week before.
Yeah, last Friday. So just over a week ago.
Yeah. And you had an album release party too.
Yes.
At the Marquee. Did. And Becky and I went to go see you. It was a very nice time. The word that I keep saying was comforting. It felt very nice to just kind of like, I don't know. It was very calming music. It feels like a very long, like exhale,
nice.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was really cool to hear, especially since we hadn't seen each other in like a year or so.
Yeah, it had been a while.
Yeah.
It was nice to see you guys there.
You just said, right, that it took you like 3 years or something to put it together?
It took a long time because we started demoing I started demoing like pretty much right after we released our last EP, and that was like 2021. And yeah, like some of the demos we'd already worked on before releasing the EP, and just like after recording the EP. That's why they weren't on the EP. And yeah, just demoing and then recording and then making music videos and mixing and mastering. It takes a long time.
Yeah, I think you put out like 5 music videos or 4.
Yeah.
And a little teaser.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reason I asked just because it's like, how does it feel to really like finally have that out and then also play it front to back? You're going to play in UMS on Sunday. So this would be the 30th?
Yes,
the 30th at the UMS house. How does that feel to just like put something out that you've been working on for so long and then just like have all these different kind of ways that you're putting it out there and releasing it?
Yeah, it feels crazy. I feel like it's a big mix of emotions. Like, it's obviously really nice to have it out, and it's like very relieving to be like, this music that's just been like ours for so long is now like out in the world. It's also like, you know, it's always weird when you put something out and you're like, it's just out there now, and like off it goes, my little baby, you know. And yeah, I think it feels good.
I mean, it's not just that. You're definitely like putting an effort, putting it out there and stuff like that, and releasing it. So, I mean, for example, to play the show, like, how did it feel to finally do that after practicing a bunch?
Well, it's interesting to like play all of the songs in the album order, because when we put the songs together in the order of like that's on the album, we weren't thinking like this is how it's gonna be live. So once we started practicing the album, we were like, oh, there's a lot of like really odd tuning breaks in between a lot of these songs. So the album itself, I guess, lends itself better towards, the way we constructed it was, based on like how it's going to make you feel throughout the album, but also just kind of the path of like how the lyrics go and stuff, just basically how you conceptualize an actual like album that you're going to listen to. But playing it, front to back live was interesting to kind of to put together and to make an entertaining show out of. It was entertaining.
Thank you. We had a really good time. So that was at the Marquee Theater. You had the top billing. There was Pink Lady Monster there as well, and Death Rally.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool to have a full show. I don't know. I kind of want you to tell this story, Sumner, because you saw us before you played, and you were really frazzled about just the last couple of days that you had leading up to the release.
Yeah.
You had a couple of shows that you had to do.
Yeah. So there was our plan was to do Laramie, Wyoming, Fort Collins, and then eventually settle at the Marquee. That was going to be kind of our string of shows for the release. And on our way up to Laramie, the van broke down, and we spent just basically the whole day just trying to get back to Denver.
How far away is Laramie?
It's maybe like from Denver, and if there's no traffic on I-25, which, good luck experiencing the time. If there's no traffic, it'll probably take you 2 hours. And so we had been driving for like a cumulative hour and a half, but we were technically only like 30 minutes outside of Denver.
Oh boy. Yeah, I know that feeling.
And so, yeah, the van broke down and we were able to get back to Denver. And then just getting up to Fort Collins, we were just kind of like sitting there like, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to get up there? Like, all of our stuff was kind of planned around having a van. Unfortunately, one of our friends also just happened to have a 15-passenger van. So we were able to use their van to then go up to Fort Collins. And once we actually got up there, I was like, okay, we made it. We actually made it to a show. Did the show and it went great.
Good.
And then, but yeah, just like having that kind of lingering in the back of my head of like, maybe this just like these string of shows that we're going to do aren't going to work out was stressful. But by the time that we got to the Marquee, it was like, I just had more of the like stress of like, performing. And I was like, this is just like extremely manageable compared to the past 2 days.
It is kind of nice, to be honest. It's like not the actual big bout that you had to deal with that already happened out of your own. But the thing is, you were worried about like sounding tight. I thought you guys sounded really tight. So
thanks.
Definitely been practicing for a while.
Yes.
On the front to back.
Yes, that's been like the focus of the past like couple months.
So, Isadora, do you mind telling me a little bit about where you're from? Not Vermont.
Not Vermont. I'm from Massachusetts originally. It's called Essex.
How'd you end up here in Denver?
I went to school in New Orleans, and then I wanted to live somewhere not Massachusetts and not New Orleans, and I was just looking at cities, and I have like an uncle here. I think I wanted to live somewhere that was very different, but also where I had at least like one or two connections, and I feel like having an uncle here, who he's like young, like we're pals, so having somebody here when I was first moving, and I was like, I don't know anybody, like, can you hang out with me? It's very nice.
Were you sort of like recording songs under your own name for how long now?
Yeah, I think I started like actually recording songs in 2016. But at first it was like I spent a summer in Brooklyn, and I would like go to this studio and pay this guy like $100 for just like 2 hours with one microphone and just
When
like
was
record
that?
acoustic stuff. I think summer of 2016, I think. And so then those are not on the internet anymore. But that was how I started like recording and releasing music, was just like super bare bones.
Yeah. And how did you basically get to work with Sumner and start like putting songs together? Like when did you meet and how did you start, I don't know, playing together?
Yeah, we met in 2019, like February 2019. And we met because we were both in a Babe Lord music video. Like we were office people who were like shocked by the appearance of an alien. And then we all like danced, and I was like looking for people to play music with, and I was like, chatting to a group of people, including Sumner, and he was like, I could be in another band. And so then I sent him, I had like a solo EP out, and I sent that to him, and he listened to it on the bike ride home because he didn't have a car at that point, and then texted me and was like, this is sick.
So the songs that you have in the new album then, are those songs that you worked on yourself or you worked on together? Or mix and match?
I would say probably 90, maybe 80% of the songs on the record are just songs that Isadora has solo demoed on her own, like guitar vocal demos. But then there's some other songs on there that started from either like an instrumental idea on my end or instrumental idea on her end, and then we just kind of 50-50 worked on it. But I would say a large part of the of all the songs, how they start are from Isadora. Well, when we record, so I do like all the bass and I do the drums, and then I'll do like some of the guitar. So
let's talk about ghosts.
Okay.
Cool. Are they friendly like Casper, or are they evil like the Paranormal Activity movies?
I think they're probably misunderstood. My guess, my feeling is that
you speak for the ghosts.
I speak for the ghosts. My job is to speak for the ghosts. I think they are misunderstood. They might seem scary because they're just angry and they just want to be heard. But then they'll be nice if you hear them.
What are ghosts to you? Are they like people, or are they memories, or are they just anything that haunts?
I think anything that haunts, but I think more like memories are like, I guess mostly like ideas. Like sometimes if you get an idea really stuck in your head about life or about yourself or about other people, it can be very hard to remove it from your brain. So I feel like that's how I see ghosts. The most ghosts I encounter are like idea ghosts.
Cool. And so this is something that is a part of your life.
Yeah.
Your day-to-day life or existence. But you feature them very heavily in the work that you do, in the music videos that you've put out. And in my perspective, they seem very comforting to you in a way. Mm-hmm. But why is it that you feature them so strongly in the music that you do?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think a lot of like lyric writing for me is like working through stuff and just like kind of like a vomit out of like how I'm feeling or what I'm thinking about. And I think there's a lot of like things, like I guess one ghost on the album is like I was raised pretty religious and I'm not religious anymore. And like, I know a lot of people have that experience, but not a great one for me. And I think I think it's a nice way to think about things like that, where you're like, I wish I didn't still think about this so much. But then if you're just like, oh, it's just this friendly little ghost. Like there's a scene in the Still music video where there's like a animated ghost that's like kind of hugging me from behind, and it's kind of like, well, maybe like I don't really want this anymore, but like it was there for me at some times,
Yeah, and it's something that I feel like, I don't know, maybe I could kind of tell that in your performance too, because it is so like warm. I didn't want to mention it was kind of like religious, but it sort of felt that way, that it kind of sticks around with you anyway, maybe.
Yeah.
Anything that you grew up with, right? Mm-hmm. It's also like very bloody. which I thought was really fun.
Yes.
Whose decision was that? So the reason I say that is because in the music videos, I forget exactly. I think it was a still music video.
Mm-hmm.
There was, there's like blood coming out your eyes or your mouth.
Yeah.
And then you guys wore these white hospital gowns or just white like nightgowns on stage, and you smeared blood, fake blood, all over them. So whose idea was that?
Well, so our visual like vibe for the album, vibe is a word I started saying ironically, and now it's just like a part of my vocabulary in a serious way. But
you're not the only one.
No, yeah.
Everybody does.
Yes, the visual vibe for our album was like Easter Sunday meets if it was a horror movie. So we're like a lot of our
elaborate on that, please.
Well, a lot of like the album, like when we were thinking about themes, it's like some of it's like a little spooky and like the ghosts idea that you were talking about, but then also like some of it's about like the, I mean, I haven't been religious in like over a decade, but when you're a kid, it sticks with you. And I think like that's also like a theme on some of the album. And we were trying to think of a way, like we wanted the visuals to not just feel like, oh, we just had to make a music video, so this is us, this is me singing, and like this is just like a random, we just had to do something and here we are doing it, like we wanted it to feel like it's like an additional artistic statement, and we kind of felt like that sort of was a condensed way of like putting together all the ideas in the album and like making them visual.
Easter Sunday meets, but like horrific, basically. Yeah. I love it.
My mom texted me and was like, my little girl is Easter Sunday meets horror movie, and I was like, oh no, you're not the target audience, Mom. I love you, but
nah, there's nothing to be ashamed of there. It's wonderful. And didn't we have another shared friend that also plays in Becky's band, Michael, right? He's directed some of those videos?
Yeah.
Which, all of them, or just a couple? Or
so we worked with him on the Mirror music video, and we were going for like more of a campy horror vibe on that one, and he was great in kind of like helping us conceptualize everything and piece it all together. But yeah, I think the blood part, especially for the live set, was just kind of a way to be like, that is the horror part, basically.
But it's campy horror.
Like it's maybe on the nose. I don't know.
No, that makes sense to me because I know you guys personally, and you're both very silly people. Like, yeah. So is that how? Is that how basically that kind of projects itself into the music that you're doing, the performance, or do you feel like, a lot of your music is very, it's like dream pop. It's very heavy, but it's also kind of, again, just kind of like a big blanket that you can put over yourself. Not exactly like silly or anything like that, but you do sort of put that in the music as well.
Yeah, I think we try to. I think, like, for example, in Still, there's like a line that's like in and back out, and then there's a little synth line that goes pew 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 pew. And it's like, I think we try to make it like a little silly sometimes, or like, I don't know. I think we both like, we take the music very seriously, but we don't want to take ourselves too seriously. And you have something.
Yeah,
and you got it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like with the little synth line, it's like we like adding things, little production nuggets that are like, this is gonna emphasize parts of the lyrics. We don't want to just like add things to add things, but we're like, we have a thing that ascends up but then descends back down the same scale, and it's like it is going in and back out.
What are some of the musical influences then? I mean, while you were putting this together over the 3 years, like what is it that you kind of felt inspired by? Sumner, Isadora, both of you guys.
Yeah, I obviously, like, there's like an element that I like to bring is like a little bit more of the like kind of pop, kind of like happier side of it, with maybe some elements of like shoegaze and like indie pop is kind of I feel like a nice little blend. But I think Isadora brings a little bit more of the like gothic folk kind of, maybe I'm trying to think of like what other genres that you kind of like.
Sad.
just sad.
Slowcore, but I guess like, for sure,
kind of going off of like a little bit of the music is we always like try to add like a little bit of like contrast in between like maybe if there's a really sad part of the lyrics, maybe the instrumentation at that point is actually like in like a major key, or like is actually a little bit more uplifting to kind of like give you a little bit of that, like that difference. Just so it's not like, man, this is like Bum City.
It's not Bum City. It's not Bum City. What about you, Isadora?
Yeah.
Like, well, especially while you were writing a lot of these songs,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, so like,
Even though they were demos, but
yeah,
they stretch back.
Right.
far.
Yeah. And like we demo, like I'll do a solo demo, but then we do like flesh out the demos together, and like, he has writing credit on everything. But yeah, some inspirations. Well, Frightened Rabbit is like probably my favorite band ever. And they're definitely a big inspiration. I feel like they do a great job of like the happy sad thing, where sometimes it's like very pop. I mean, some of it sounds really sad, but some of it's like very pop sounding, or like a little more upbeat, rocky. And then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, whoa, like very sad. So they're a huge influence. The Cure, I like The Cure a lot. That like intro track, and also the fact that there's chimes on like 3 songs is definitely like directly from The Cure.
Yeah, chimes not featured enough in other music.
I know, I agree. We need more chimes. That's my campaign.
One of those the big ones. That you just like hit the church bells.
Yes.
There's a takeaway from this album is more chimes.
Yeah, that's.
Do we have chimes in the album?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect.
We bought a little chime guy.
A little chime guy
for this
with a little mallet.
Album. It lives in my office now, so if I ever like knock anything down, it's just like loud chime.
Chime City.
There was a point like when we were demoing, we'd be like, "All right, cool," and then let's get the chimes out. We're like, "Wait." maybe
let's test it out.
Maybe let's pump the brakes. We're gonna be chimes are on every song right now. Maybe let's start stripping. Like, let's be tasteful with it.
No, it's tasteful.
But
I know you mentioned that it's sad, but it's not depressing. I don't know. I felt it was like a very peaceful thing. And I also said earlier, felt like a really long like exhale, because a lot of these songs move really like slowly. Like everything has a really steady but like slow pace. The lyrics are also very emotional, and the things that you're kind of dealing with. But you play it all very like relaxed. It gave me like a very like post-rock kind of feel. And I don't know if that's another influence that you guys might have, but just thinking about how it takes like a really long time to like release tension. And then like I don't know. I just kind of felt that was the experience seeing you guys live. In the song Haunted that I really like that came out in this new album, it's the same feeling where I feel like it really like resolves itself slowly through the chorus. Yeah. What is it like to play music like that? I mean, when it comes, especially like when you're performing it live, wanting to take your time with whatever it is that you're trying to say or build.
I feel like it depends on the night. I feel like it's hard, like I don't want to be like fully in it every night, because then it's sad sometimes.
For you.
For me. I don't know. I think it's odd, like sometimes playing, like some of these songs are 3 years ago that I wrote the lyrics, and then to be like playing them live, I'm like, oh, I'm like back in this moment, and I'm like just in front of all these people, singing about this thing that happened like a long time ago. But I think it's nice. I feel like there's I played solo for a while, and obviously now I play with a band, and I don't do solo shows anymore. And I think like playing really sad songs, or like songs that are very personal, felt like not that great. Like a little just like overwhelming and like stressful, and a little like just devastating.
I can understand.
And I think playing with a band, and especially like playing with Sumner, who writes a lot of the music with me and also like has a big emotional investment in it, even though he's not writing the lyrics, but he's very involved in like the other parts of the songs. And I think like playing them with other people who also really care about the music, it's like, I don't know, it kind of feels like that, like a full circle moment where you're like, wow, I like this started as a very lonely thing, and now it's like we're all together and we're all playing this music and
sharing it with
excited.
Other people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about you, Sumner? Is that kind of a similar experience from your perspective?
Well, I never really played anything solo. I've always like played in a band. But what's different about this is like this is, the first kind of project where it's like I've been a part of writing everything and sort of had more of a role in kind of crafting a sound and crafting a vibe. And
It's vibe crafters. That's what we are.
Yeah, vibe crafter over here. And so playing it live is it's awesome. Like I love being able to like going from the idea stage of like conceptualizing this and then like writing it in the studio and then being like I don't know how we're gonna do this live, but then figuring it out and figuring out all the pieces in order to make it compelling is like a really fun challenge to me. I think it's awesome. I think it's really fun.
Do you have like a certain, like you mentioned, for example, like that one video or the whole aesthetic is kind of be like, I'm not going to keep saying the Easter Sunday, but like make it scary type of thing. But do you have like a certain kind of vision or kind of thesis for when you play live as well?
Yeah, I guess for the release show, we wanted to sort of like take all of the visual elements that we made plus the aesthetic that we've kind of crafted with the album to sort of put it onto the live show. Whereas before we haven't really necessarily like thought too hard, I guess, about like we've always just been like maybe just like, wear something cool. This was like kind of the first time we've like been very intentional about like what we're going to be wearing, plus like how we want the stage to look, and the visual elements of like using like a projector to project a lot of the visual elements was definitely something new to like both of us, but I feel like it really helped like package the experience into something that seemed a little bit bigger than like the music itself, I guess.
Yeah. And I think in general, we're also the opening band most times. So it feels a little excessive to be like, we're going to play for 30 minutes, but we're also going to spend 30 minutes setting up a projector and we're going to do like get changed and do a big entrance. And like, not that we couldn't do it, but just like sometimes it's a little harder to like want to go, or, you don't want to like step on the time of the headliner either. So, but this was our own big headlining show. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think we put thought into the live shows before. Like, I think we put a lot of thought into like the set order, right. And not just in terms of tuning breaks, but also in terms of like, how does it feel like going through these songs and like, when is the vibe up and when is the vibe down, And
then you finish the show with a cover of the Police's Every Breath You Take, which was awesome. We were all swaying. It was wonderful. But how did you land on that song?
There was a lot of songs that we were kind of cycling through, and I think what we wanted was like we've covered stuff before, but we've been like, I don't think anybody knew what that song was. Like we wanted something.
We covered the Wii theme once and nobody knew what it was.
You played the Wii theme?
We played the Wii Sports Resort theme.
Like that one?
Yeah.
How? What?
And we were like, dude, this is gonna slay. And people just were like, everyone was blank faced.
This was your like cover on your performance.
We did it. We're like, okay, Isadora's got some downtime. Like she's gonna be like putting a guitar down and then retuning another guitar. So we're gonna have at least like 2 minutes to just like we can just riff on the Wii theme. And so we did it for one show, and I think people were like, "What the hell was that?" Or they just like didn't know quite what they experienced.
I don't know. That sounds awesome.
That's
lovely.
Maybe it needs a little more time in the oven. That song is just instantly recognizable. Yeah,
the way the like drums come in that song, they're like boom, 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 boom. It's like it feels so fucking good. And
it is good.
It is good. Yeah. We wanted to do something that felt like everybody will definitely know this song because everyone has just sat through like 40 minutes of songs they don't know probably because we just released the album.
Yeah, I mean like the impact he's had on a generation.
Totally.
But anyways, Isadora, Sumner, you guys are playing UMS. Are you excited for that?
I'm super excited. We've dyed the nightgowns red.
Perfect.
It's gonna be great.
Bloody to the max.
Yeah, we changed the set order around a little bit to work a little better for a live show.
What's the rest of your year look like?
Well, yeah, the rest of our year is looking. We're taking some time to chill. I think.
Good. Yeah, vibe out.
Yeah, vibe out. It's been super busy, like this whole year with the releasing, but also even before that with like making the music videos and making the album and everything. So I think we're like halfway through demoing a new album. So
that's cool.
We'll probably like, but the past like month or two, it's just been too busy to like do any demoing or writing. So I think we'll play UMS, we'll chill, we'll vibe, and then we'll keep working on demos, and yeah, hopefully, also like keep kind of pushing the album since it literally just came out. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. Do you have plans?
Yeah, what are your intentions?
The potato era is upon us.
So, because this podcast is called Loops, I always like to ask people that come on it, what their favorite loop is. And it can be like anything. It can be like a sample, or it can be a beat, or a song, or a loop in one of your own songs. What is in your head? And I guess you can both answer this.
There was like a while where I was like really into like break beats and stuff. Do you know like the kind of the era of video games where there was just like jungle break beats,
like
stuff?
Sonic.
Yeah.
And
it was just like in every video game.
I had a video game like that on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah,
exactly. It was like a skateboarding video game. It was like, everything was like Matrix.
Everything's like super sped up, but it's like there's also like just tons of like rhythmic just clutter, as lack of better terms you could say, in there. And
we got to get you out to the clubs.
I guess that's my favorite loop. It's like a genre, the jungle break beat.
It's fun, man. We got to see some of that live. Yeah. What about you, Isadora? Do you have a favorite loop?
Well, I guess I feel like I have a fun answer and a bummer answer.
Great. Let's do both.
Well, my favorite, there's a Frightened Rabbit song called Floating in the Fourth, and it has like a very pretty guitar line that just kind of loops throughout the whole thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like
What is it called?
Easy Floating in the Fourth. That's why it's depressing, is because that song is about him, like, eventually he's like, I might kill myself by jumping in the fourth, and then he did eventually die that way. So it's pretty sad. But the guitar is very pretty. So a win. There's one small win. And it's very easy to play. So that's kind of whenever I'm like pending on just like standing there holding my guitar, and I'm like,
was that your happy ansser or your, your bummer answer?
That's my bummer answer. Then that's like the little thing I'll play because it's very pretty. I thought of one other loop. Yeah. Oh my God. You know that song that's like, hey dudes, are you ready to? There's a 10-hour loop of just that.
Is this like a pop punk song?
Yeah, what is it called?
It's In Friends We Trust by Chunk No Captain Chunk. And they wrote this song about how they were really excited about playing Warped Tour that year, but then someone made a 10-hour loop of just like, hey dudes, are you ready to, which is one of the lyrics, and Isadora loves it.
I feel like once Sumner showed me that song, it was like my whole vocabulary. Like I couldn't say a sentence without being like, hey dudes, are you ready to? Like anything I did, I was like, okay, like I have to go to, hey dudes, are you ready to work? Like just anything I was doing. So I highly recommend it. Maybe we can watch the video after we finish.
That's exactly what we're going to do. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.